everyone. I'm Kathy Chenna with FDT Academy, the Director of Admissions. We are continuing on with our videos with student series. And with me today is Leo. Leo is in grade 11 and he's going to talk about all things debate. Welcome to the program, Leo. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I just want you to start off by just telling our viewers a little bit about yourself. Like, who is Leo? What do you do? What do you love doing? What do you hate doing? And then we'll get into the debate.
Okay, sure. So, hi, my name is Leo. I'm in grade 11. I go to Burnaby North Secondary School. Outside of debate, some of my hobbies are playing basketball. I play piano as well. I've actually played piano for like 10 years, so super long time.
Wow.
And I also really like math. So I have a really broad range of passions.
Yes, yes. Now, tell us, how long have you been debating? Like, when did you start?
I started debate in the beginning of grade 9. So this will be my third year of debate.
Your third year. Okay, good. And how would you say that, describe some of the FDT classes that you've been to?
Yeah, so I've sort of experienced quite a few different FDT classes with a bunch of different instructors. And the really cool part about FDT is every single instructor sort of has their own specialty and their own way of coaching. And they all bring something unique and valuable to you as a coach. So oftentimes, different coaches in the same round will give you really different feedback. They'll have knowledge about the background of emotion, and they'll have specific things. Maybe they really know about style, and so they can help you with the style of your debate, or they have a particular piece of knowledge about the content that you're giving, and they can help you there.
Yes, yes. No, that is good. That's what I've been hearing with our student series. There's been a lot of our coaches love to give feedback, and that's very valuable to our students. So I'm glad that you touched on that. What's your favorite thing about debate? There's different formats of debate. There's different roles that students play in debate, whether it's you're the first speaker or you're a summary speaker. What's your favorite thing about debate itself?
I think my favorite part is those 15 minutes or 30 minutes in the prep room when this is a tough motion and it's a high level round. Maybe this is an out round, maybe this is a finals round,
right?
And there's this feeling that you get at the bottom of your stomach when you just come up with an argument, and you just know this is an amazing argument, that it's going to make a huge difference in the round. And it's an amazing feeling. It's like you found some treasure in the back of your brain that you didn't know existed before.
Right. That's really awesome. We're going to jump into tournaments because this is something that, debate itself, you're very competitive. I would consider you a very seasoned debater. Although you started in grade 9, you kind of jumped right in and, haven't really stopped going, in terms of, many, many different debates that you've attended. So how do you, Leo, stay positive prior to a debate tournament and throughout that debate itself? What are you doing to stay positive? Because, in some of these debates, it's open adjudication where you're going to find out right away win, loss, and other ones you just really don't know. I'm sure we have that gut feeling that, oh man, that was so awesome. Like, I know we won that round. But like, if a judge is telling you, oh, sorry, we gave it to this team, not your team, what are you doing to stay positive, prior and during the debate?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think as you get more experience in debate, this becomes more and more important, is controlling your mental attitude and making sure that you're always in the right sort of mental state whenever you're going into a round. I think the big thing for me is trying to forget about everything else that's going on in the tournament and focusing on not just the round, not just the speech I'm giving, but like the minute that I'm in right now, right? So being very, very precise with exactly what I'm trying to accomplish with the time that I have. So maybe this is the third minute into prep. I'm trying not to think about what the call was last round. I'm trying not to think about where my team is in the standings, how many wins I would need to get if I wanted to break.
Right.
I'm just thinking about prepping that motion and getting my arguments in and thinking about, ideas.
So you're talking a lot about prep and you're being given 15 minutes and you're doing this and you're doing that. Could I say that impromptu is your favorite versus prepared?
Yes, for sure. I really like impromptu debate. I also used to do a lot of public speaking, and impromptu public speaking was sort of the thing that I was best at. So I think it just came more naturally to me. And I think there's something really exciting about impromptu debate that
Mhm.
prepared debates don't have.
Can you share with me one of your most memorable debate moments?
Yeah, for sure. So this was at CUSA Nationals, and this was the finals motion. And the motion was like, this house prefers a world in which universities accepted students on a random sort of lottery.
Mhm.
And when we were opening government on that motion in a BP round, and opening government is very stressful, especially if I'm the first speaker, right? So I have 15 minutes and I have to give, this speech, and I can't engage with the other teams later on. But this motion, the moment it dropped, I just had like an epiphany because I read an entire book talking about this type of college admission system. So it just felt like an amazing moment where all the sort of books I've been reading, all the prep that I've been doing really paid off. And even in the prep room, it felt like I had already won the round. Like I just had so much knowledge about this topic, so many like, things that I've already covered. It just felt like I won that round the moment that motion was dropped.
Amazing. That's amazing. I mean, you've had so many successes, Leo. You have a lot to be proud about. Let's talk about how debate can help you in the future.
For sure. So on the short-term level, I think debate has helped me a lot when it comes to things like leadership and speaking. So currently, I'm actually running the debate club at my school. I'm
Mhm.
also the exec on a bunch of other school clubs that have nothing to do with debate.
Mhm.
And I found that standing up there and talking to grade eights, grade nines, right, organizing events, talking to other people on your executive team, that type of organization and the ability to convince people and sound very confident in front of a bunch of people comes very naturally if you just do a lot of debate. So that's what's really helpful in the short term. In the long term, I think the biggest difference debate has made for me is it's motivated me to do way more reading and understand the world way more.
Mhm.
So, for example, I read the news every single day now. I read The Economist, and it means that I'm aware of what's going on in the world in a way that I never was aware of before. I've also, the FDT coaches are amazing. They've sent me like personalized reading lists. So those reading lists have really expanded my horizons and have allowed me to, see entirely new perspectives and learn about, new countries that I had no idea were relevant.
Mhm. So, what are your personal future goals? Where are you going? Where are you going to school? What are you going to do? What are you going to take?
Yeah, so whenever I get asked this question, people are always surprised by my answer. So I'm actually interested in going to math and physics, which is very unusual for a debater. Most debaters
Yeah,
stay in the humanities, they do philosophy or political science.
right, right.
But for me, I think the connection with STEM is actually quite deep. So debate is ultimately about logic, right? It's about, proving things through very detailed steps. It's through coming up with arguments. And so I think the connection is there. And also I think that a lot of the people in STEM are not very well known for their ability to communicate their ideas very well or to
Mm.
be very popular and be able to communicate with the public. So I think that those skills as well can make STEM more accessible and more valuable to society as a whole.
Yeah, it's sort of like balancing out, an accountant, for example, right? Like there's a stereotype for for accountants, right? But then when you mix that with a verbal accountant and they've got the public speaking side of it and they're debating as well, it just sort of makes it like a very different, type of individual and charismatic kind of an accountant, because there's going to be stereotypes in all different areas, obviously. So I think that, if that's something that you love, like you have all the other stuff, you know what I mean? Like charisma, public speaking, outgoing, extrovert, like all of that. And then being able to bring that into, into STEM, I think is going to be really excellent for you. I can't wait to, actually to your grade 12 year and you start applying at different places and we can figure out where Leo's going in the future. My last question is this, Leo. You have a group of kids in front of you, anywhere from grade 4 to grade 12. And they're on the fence, they're thinking about maybe going into debate or something else. What's some advice that you would give them to be able to convince them to try debate?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I think has worked on my own kids to get them to convince to stay in my club and get them to go to tournaments is to point out that debate is one of those activities that is actually relatively low cost to get into. So, for example, what I advise my kids in my club to do is try out a very low stakes beginner tournament.
Hmm.
which usually could take, 1 weekend. There are no prepped motions, it's all impromptu.
Right.
And most of them, after going to that one beginner tournament, get hooked on debate. They immediately become into it because it's such an exciting activity and it's really fun. And so my advice to all of those people would be to try to go to a real tournament. Find a friend, find maybe even get paired up with someone you don't know that well and use that as an opportunity to try out a brand new activity.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I love that. I love that. I think it's really important to, I think it's hard for kids to start off that way in jumping right into a tournament because they're already afraid. But once you get that exhilarating feeling of a tournament and you're in it, you want to sort of chase that feeling again, and I think that's excellent advice to your students at your school. Today we're talking to Leo about all things debate, and just jump right in, try things out. He says he doesn't know what the future necessarily is going to hold, but he does know a few things with regards to public speaking and debate and how that's carried him through his high school years. So Leo, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to the future and what that brings for you. Please do keep in touch.
Thank you so much,
Bye
Kathy.
for now.
Bye.